Everybody, Dan Bickford with you. It is time for our latest episode of Carolina Rides. Of course, we take a look into the car world. And of course, we're always looking for ideas, and we'd like you to follow us too at our socials. Carolina Rides, we're on Facebook at Carolina Rides. We're on YouTube. You'll find our channel at Carolina Rides WSPA. All of our shows will be posted there. All of our old ones will be there, and today's will be there as well, starting at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, which is the same time, at 3 o'clock on Friday, which is the same time this will make its premiere on WSPA+. You can also find us on Instagram at Carolina Rides Official WSPA. It is my honor to welcome our guest today. You either know him locally as the owner of Tommy Pike Customs. You may know him from the Motor Trend Channel TV show, Custom Carolina. Tommy Pike is with us today. How you doing?
Doing great. How are you doing today, Dan?
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us. Let's really start from the beginning. What got you interested in cars in the first place?
Well, I guess maybe a story like so many other folks out there. I just loved cars. I loved cars from the time I knew what they were and understood kind of how they worked. And I just always loved mechanics and taking stuff apart when I was a little kid, taking my bicycles apart and I guess fixing them, maybe breaking them first and then having to fix them. But at any rate, I just have always had that bug. And then when I got up in my teen years, I just kind of knew the car thing was for me. And that's how it started. I started working on cars at home. And and when I was in high school, started working at a company that did window tinting and car stereo stuff. And then it just kind of grew from there. As this thing, it just kind of started getting bigger than me. And we started doing other things outside of window tinting, car stereo, full customizations, and then kind of the rest is history. Here we are today.
Did you have any influence in your upbringing in your life? Was there somebody else who was really interested in cars, or did you have anybody who kind of helped your interest along?
Yeah, so my dad was an aircraft mechanic for pretty much his whole life when he was a young man up. And I guess that's where the being mechanically inclined came from. And he would tinker with cars kind of when he was at home and had spare time, which wasn't much. But I would say my dad probably was the biggest influence in me being interested in all things mechanical. And then as I grew, getting kind of specifically into cars. So,
what was your first car?
It's a 1973 Smurf Blue Super Beetle. It was awesome.
Yeah, I would say there's no shame in that.
Yeah. There wasn't. When you're 15, man, and you got your own car, there's definitely no shame at all. You're riding. I was riding proud in that Smurf Blue Super Beetle for sure.
What is your favorite car you've ever owned?
Oh man.
Or are they all favorites because they're all like your children?
Honestly, I'm gonna have to say yes. Like I love every single one of them in a different way. So it's like we had a big family, and my mom loved us each in our own special way. And I think I've learned with the automobiles, I've kind of got some favorites that we built. But the ones that I've owned, I kind of love all of them. I have a really unique taste. I have from a Gremlin, an AMC Gremlin, to old Datsun pickup to some of the newer Corvette stuff. So I love them all. One of my favorites that we built would be a 1937 Dodge truck. We did for Mopar that sits in their store. I guess it's their museum or where they have a lot of their special vehicles. So that would be one of my favorites of all time. Would be the 37 Dodge. The first stuff I've ever owned. Yeah, all of them.
Nice. You talked a little bit about a background of how you kind of got that interest. Tell us a little bit about the background of how your current shop started.
Well, so how I got where I'm at is window tinting, car stereo from a very young age, working for a company that at a point they were ready to retire. And it ended up being I was able to purchase the shop that I worked for. And that is where this I guess technically started because through the time period we were the car stereo window tinting thing was kind of phasing out. The customization was really starting to pick up. We kind of saw the future is the custom part that people just can't go. Like you can go put a car stereo in your car in your driveway on a weekend with YouTube, but you can't necessarily do a full custom build that requires metal fabrication tools and all those things, right? And experience. So we started phasing out of the retail stuff into the full customization, and that retail window tech car stereo turned into Tommy Pike Customs. I would say probably in the mid 2000s. So we've been here now 20 plus years, full on Tommy Pike Customs, and that's kind of the short version of how we ended up from a window tech car stereo shop to a full customization shop.
Explain a little bit behind the customization process. Somebody comes in, they've got a car, they want to do something with it. Is the process pretty much they have a dream, or do they come to you saying, you know, I kind of want to do something new or something special with this? You have any ideas? Kind of guide us through the process. If somebody wants to bring a car in, what do they do?
Sure, and so the response to that is it's a multi-level approach because we have many different types of custom jobs we do. You may go buy a brand new, I don't know, Porsche, right? Just last week, a gentleman bought a very, very expensive Porsche, but he wanted it to sound a little bit different and feel a little bit different, look a little bit different. So he's like, hey, I wanted those things, right? I'd like it this, and this. And then they come to us here at Tommy Pike Customs because we're very particular about what our finished product looks like. So they'll have a very general idea of what they want, and then they'll bring it here, we'll narrow that down and get them the specific things that are personalized to each client. So that's one. That's more of a quick retail add-on stuff. And then you have guys that are like, you know, for 30 years, I wanted this 1969 Camaro. But I don't want it to run like a 69 Camaro or stop like one. I want it to run and drive like a brand new Camaro. And that process is pretty much ground up. You take everything from 1969, throw it away, and you go back with all modern chassis, suspension, brakes, new, most of the time now supercharged engines, and automatic transmissions, and all the upgraded things that go with it. And then you're going to have the creature comforts inside the car, which is air conditioning, Bluetooth audio, power windows, power locks, the whole bit. So it's kind of a, you just never know. It's kind of life is like a box of chocolates here. We get people that come in and say, hey, I just want power brakes, put on my 1974 truck. So we kind of do whatever the client wants. And our job is just to make sure it's right when it leaves here.
And then my dream car would be a 68 Firebird with current mechanicals, so I know I can go, I know I can stop, some sort of LS series engine in it, and I'd be happy.
That's the dream right there. That makes me happy. I'm smiling just thinking about a 68 Firebird. That's great.
Yeah, it's been one of my favorite cars as far back as I can remember. Of course, I don't have one, but I always build to your dreams. For somebody who might be interested in, or they're planning on doing something with customization, what are some tips you can give the customer as they come in? Some do's, some don'ts as they're thinking about things, or things they need to know about the process? Because obviously, these aren't exactly overnight builds.
No, and the biggest thing I find, and most just average people who aren't in the car business, you might stop in at a cruising or something like that. You see so many unfinished projects. So the biggest thing that I would say to anybody wanting to build a custom car, or even just customize a newer car, have the end goal in mind. So just put it on paper. What do you want from this car? What are your expectations? What is your budget? What are your monetary constraints or limitations? And just have a very clear picture. And then feel good about who's doing the work on your car, because that process is very important. There's a lot of people that have gone to a lot of places that didn't go well. That's one of our biggest issues here. People have been burned so many times, and then they come here, and it's a real hard thing to get over. So I would say plan it out as meticulously as you can. Have your budget in mind of what you want to do, and then those two things have to intersect and work, and then you find the right shop, and it's going to be a much better and easier process for you.
You mentioned the Dodge truck a little bit earlier. What are some of your other favorite projects, either early on or even that that you're working on currently?
Oh man, we did a 67 Corvette with a full like supercharged race setup. So it's capable of up to 1,000 horsepower. It's got a all billet aluminum sequential transmission. I mean, this thing is like literally on the outside, 67 Corvette. You get inside of it, and it's like an incredible European race car. Like it's just insane. So the 67 Corvette, we did a 54 Corvette. That was incredible. 74 Bronco was amazing. But again, I love them all, but we've done some really, really high end special builds. And the three that I just mentioned were in that group for sure.
What's one of the wildest things you've ever worked on?
Oh man. Well, a wild. I mean, as far as like just crazy was we did a Lambo and we did all kind of crazy performance upgrades and stuff like that on that. That was really cool. We did like a 48 Ford F500, which was a single cab dually. Um, and we did a bunch of upgrades to that to make it more drivable. I don't know, we did a 72 F100 and we had a Ford F100 with a Chevy supercharged engine in it. And man, that created a lot of issues for people who love Fords. When they open the hood and see a Chevy motor, man, it was pretty tough for a while.
Yeah, I actually saw something on social media the other day. It was kind of the reverse of that. It was a Corvette hood popped, and there was a Coyote engine in there.
Ay, ay, ay. Ouch. That could get you messed up in certain parts of the country.
Yeah, that's a big no-no, which kind of leads me to the next question. Have you ever come across something where a customer has said something where they want something, and for either aesthetic reasons or maybe even for safety, you just said, no, I'm not doing that?
Yeah, we one of my mottos here is we build cars that you drive, right? We everything we build here has to be driven. And part of what goes behind that is my reputation, my name, what we do here is on the line on every car we build. So yes, we get requests pretty much all the time of things that are just, I mean, to me, they're pretty wild, like horsepower wise. I want 1,500 horsepower. It's very difficult well, let me say, it's very expensive to make a 1,500 horsepower car that's daily drivable. And that's part of what I said earlier about knowing what you want and understanding the money that goes into that. So we do have to tell people no. I would say regularly, but it's only because I want them to have the best experience, right? And I want to keep my name and reputation intact, and I want them to have a product they're going to love and want to come back to do another one, not because there's problems.
Do you see anything out there that ever inspires you? Maybe something that happened at a SEMA show, or that's just kind of, it's like, hey, I'd like to try something like this.
So it's really funny that you asked that. I try not to, like, I go to SEMA every year, been there for 20 plus years. I don't watch any of the other television shows, and that's coming from somebody that's been on television that it's kind of interesting. I get my inspiration maybe sometimes outside of the automotive world, and some of our finishes and things that we do, because I like being outside the box. But yes, I do see cars sometimes that I just think, wow, man, if I could take this little bit of this idea and incorporate it in this way, gives us that little bit of a competitive edge and just always thinking outside the box. So I would say, yes, I do get inspired sometimes at SEMA, which I mean, a lot of the stuff there is just crazy. I mean, it's insane in a good way. But trying to take the insane stuff and incorporate it into daily life, I guess that's kind of where I like to hang out.
Okay, we're going to take a little bit of break here. When we come back, we're going to talk with Tommy a little bit about how he got involved in television in the first place. Stay with Carolina Rides. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Carolina Rides. If you're just joining us, Tommy Pike from Tommy Pike Customs is joining us, talking a little bit about customization. Of course, you may know him from Custom Carolina, which was on the Motor Trend channel. How did you get involved in television in the first place?
Well, it's a very interesting story. We're just kind of going on about our normal daily routine, and I think my wife and I got a phone call from some producers in California, and at the time, man, things were going pretty good. And I was like, I don't know if I'm really interested in doing that, which was kind of surprising even to myself. So we kind of went back and forth for a few weeks. And, because when you think about going on television, like it's kind of life changing and it's scary. So once we got kind of through all that, my wife and I discussing kind of what the good, bad, and indifferent is of it, we decided that we would pursue it, and it just kind of happened like that. We got the call. We said no a couple of times. We thought long and hard about it. We said, okay, I think we can do if we do this, if this all goes through, because getting a show like you could win the lottery and be struck by lightning at the same time before you could ever get a television show. It's the numbers are insane. So we're like, if this all goes through, the big thing for us, we just want to do a good show, right? Not really all about the drama. We just want to do a good, solid show that shows people how cool cars are built and that you can watch with the whole family. And we were able to do that. And I think I feel good about it. We did really, really well in it. It was very hard. I pretty much lived at my shop for almost a year, and it was just an interesting process. But that's kind of start to finish. It was just one of those things. You answer the phone, and here we are.
So that amazes me. This wasn't something that you necessarily pursued. It was like somebody somewhere sort of ratted you out, I guess. And it's like, hey, this might be a good idea. Talk to this guy.
Yep, yep. And then you say no, and they're like, no, I think because they check you out, and they kind of already know, and that's just how it went. So we did it, and we really went after it hard, and very proud of it. I love it. We still, we have people. We had a family come from South America probably a month ago. Didn't speak really any English other than three or four of the names of us on the show, and it was pretty awesome. So to know that you can get into something not really having any idea of what the impacts of it are, and for us in a very positive way. We're in like 20 some odd 25 different countries at this point. It's just pretty neat, and it was tough, but I'm very thankful we did it.
Now, the cars that were done on the show, were those types of things that were going to be coming through the shop anyway? Were you doing special projects just because you were on TV? How did that work?
The vast majority, I mean, like 90% of everything that was done on the show was true customer cars. And selfishly, I did get a couple of mine done in there too, but that was part of the reward of me working 24 hours a day for a year. But it was all legitimate customer builds. It was incredible, and that was, I think, the big part of why they wanted us to do the show, because they came here, they vetted us, we had all the top brass from the network here, and pretty much all that stuff was in process, or we had just done cars for those same customers that these were in line. So it just worked out.
Other than obviously living at the shop for a year, like you said, what was the biggest challenge in, okay, you're doing your normal job and now you've got a TV crew? And I guess, I don't know if you're trying to ignore them. I don't know if anybody's trying to play to the camera any. I mean, how does that process work?
It's, the good part for us is that we had been filming all of our YouTube stuff for years prior. So again, much different scale. We're talking, we have two people full time on staff that film, edit, they do the audio, they do everything for us. We went from a crew of 2 to like 12. So you have some familiarity with camera being in your face, but the hardest part for me, it's just nonstop. And I get in the mode, like I have 22 cars to build in 10 months. I don't like stopping. Well, the problem with filming a show is, oh, that was really good, but we didn't get it from this angle. Can you take that back off and let us shoot it from this angle? So I think not just myself, but all my guys here, redoing things for the different angle. Not that you're staging it, but they want to see it from 2 or 3 different angles. I think that might have been probably the most frustrating part.
That's an interesting insight right in there to, I guess, what reality TV is. And then, wait, hang on. We want to see it from over there.
Yeah. And when our director would be like, oh, that was brilliant. It was perfect. Let's do it one more time. It's like, ah.
Now, do you see any further Custom Carolina seasons on the horizon?
Well, so there's been a whole lot of drama with Motor Trend, and
Mm-hmm.
they've they've gone bankrupt ultimately, and they've been sold. What we've done here is we have all of the production equipment that we had when we filmed the show, and we're still filming episodes just to our YouTube channel. So folks can go to our Tommy Pike Customs YouTube channel and see a much more real life reality series as opposed to getting hour-long episodes of one car from start to finish. You're getting 5 or 10 or 15 cars in process until they're finished. So for us, it looks the same. It's the same quality, same equipment, same folks shooting it and editing it, but just in a much more real time, much more relaxed setting for us that are doing the work. So, but that's how you can catch the new content. And you never know. I mean, whether we do network stuff again or not, we're still going to keep pushing with our content stuff here and filming the episodes and putting them on YouTube.
Well, I mean, even without a network, I know some of the old episodes you can find that because Motor Trend was part of the whole kind of, some of their stuff was on the HBO Max streaming, and there are
That's
other
right.
different streaming outlets out there. Have you ever considered maybe going that route because somebody may approach you and say, "Hey, we'd love to have you fill some time here. We'd this people want to see this, and
Yeah,
maybe a little something
absolutely.
in it for you."
Yeah, absolutely. We're not opposed to any of that. And I do believe the future, I think that we're going to see a lot of linear network brands go away. I think it's a huge pool with not really a whole lot of new content. And I think the streaming services are really going to pick up. So it was one of the main reasons that we just kept filming. We kept everything rolling just like normal because you just don't know. And if the right streaming service comes along or the right outlet comes along, we're all for it. Otherwise, we're just going to keep rolling, putting it on YouTube, and just kind of see what the future holds.
In terms of your own business at the shop, you've got pre Custom Carolina and then during and post Custom Carolina. What was the difference?
It's just crazy now. You know, pre Custom Carolina, you're just kind of like floating through life. You come in, you work, you go home. Um, Everything was just kind of normal. You do the show. There was a year and a half, 2 years of just complete chaos. A year after the show now, or a year and a half out, you got people looking at you funny when you're out trying to eat lunch. You got, you got people emailing you from all over, calling from all over, and it's just a different. It's like learning this whole new process and way of doing things now. So it's very good for us. I mean, it's been good for our business. You just have to figure out how to manage it all. We get hundreds of emails, hundreds of calls. It's amazing, but it's just a lot. So that's the biggest difference of kind of being normal, and then it just gets a little bit not normal.
Is there anything you've learned from that experience going forward? Whether you do television, whether it's linear, whether it's just what you're putting up on YouTube, have you taken some lessons from that and you're like, okay, knowing what I know now, I wish I would have done this before?
Hollywood is tough. Dealing with networks is just it's a tough process for people who have never there's zero knowledge of how Hollywood works. Um, so I think the things I've learned from it, we would probably have handled it a much different way. But again, it's life lessons, right? If you've never done it, you will never know until you do it. And then at that point, you come out the other end with a whole nother set of understanding and things you would do differently. But yeah, just the Hollywood part of it was just a little bit tougher than I anticipated.
What lies ahead for Tommy Pike Customs as the business goes forward?
Uh, we're going to get up every day and we're going to do the very best we can to build the best cars we can, treat people the best we can, um, and just try to enjoy the ride.
Is there
No
a
pun intended.
yeah, is there a dream project of yours that you would like to accomplish at some point?
Honestly, Dan, I'm just thankful to be able to do what I do. And every job to me is the special one. So I think it's what I've learned in all this is life is can be much simpler than I've made it over all these years. So if I get to come in here and do what I want to do and provide for our family and our employees, um, every next job is that special job.
Okay, quickly right now, because I'm not, obviously you said it's really busy, but whoever said, business was bad, right? All that business was bad. Tell us, kind of give us a little commercial. Tell us where you are and how people can find you.
Sure. We're Tommy Pike Customs. World headquarters is located on Rutherford Road here in Greenville, South Carolina. And contact us through our website, TommyPikeCustoms.com. And you can shoot us an email from there. Our number, you can call us, 864-268-3599. And subscribe to our YouTube channel because we're putting stuff out quite regularly. And then hit all of our social channels up as well.
Awesome stuff right there. That kind of wraps up our time. Tommy, I would like to thank you very much for joining me today. And I hope everything goes well with whatever your projects are in the future. And who knows, maybe I'll stop in sometime with something. Hopefully a pond.
I'd love to have you. Thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. Okay, I am Dan Bickford. Once again, hit us up on socials if you have any comments, questions, or if you have any ideas for a story or something like that. You can go ahead and contact us there. Until then, for Carolina Rides, drive safely. We'll see you later.